What was I saying that during the intros that you didn't like? You said I said to everyone. You was like, "Yeah, I try to come out if I can." Oh yeah.
Oh, look at me. We're rolling.
See, I forgot it today. If I'd have remembered, I'd have done it just to spite Dylan. Just been like, "Oh, rolling." Yeah, it was that.
Yeah, let's get ready to start. Yeah, we're live again.
So another thing that I noticed too when I'm editing these is that I will be like right up on that microphone making love to it.
Yeah.
Or I'll just go all the way back. So my audio is just like Dylan's audio I never have to mess with, which Dylan is now going to edit them because I don't know if you guys know this. I suck with technology. But guys, welcome back to another episode of Mike and Dylan Hate
it.
Drama. We do not like it. We don't like it so much that we talk about it. That's what we talk about. This is a drama-filled podcast full of drama things. So what was it, yesterday or the day before?
Well, I don't know what
that
we're
we did
about.
Yeah, see, look. The audience doesn't know. Dylan doesn't even know the way I word these. That we went to the biker thing.
Oh, it was Friday night, so that was 2 days ago.
Yes.
This is Sunday.
Friday night, we went to a biker festival thing to sell labor llama. And I think it went swimmingly. We sold, what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, I think 5 items.
5 items. So what they did was they put us in this alleyway, and then we weren't even facing anybody. They made this alleyway just to where people who were selling things, A, we weren't near the action at all. And then B, we were in this like confined area where our backs were to everybody else.
Yeah, we spent most of the time turned around in the thing, but
Right.
yeah.
I had to do like the little angled, like try to face the people that are here. So I always stood at this weird angle because we were like, oh, my face will attract the people. And then we're like, well, we're going to put you where nobody can see you. All right. We're fucking, we see you're trying to sell stuff. So we're going to put you way back here. So wasn't as gangbusters as we thought it was going to be.
I think with those, it's one of those things where it's not always a like. You could go 5 times in a row and 3 of them will be gangbusters and 2 of them will be just complete duds. Like with events, like sometimes you sell like crazy and then sometimes it's just nobody's wanting to buy anything. Cause I don't think anybody that was vending that day really got a good turnout. But I think when I was talking to some of our neighbors, they were like, yeah, no, sometimes, I'll do $1,000 in a day and sometimes, I barely cover my booth rent. So.
Wish we would have done that $1,000
yeah, that
in one
cool.
day. Also, I didn't let anybody know. Like me and Dylan were there, and I was like, "Oh, I should, probably post a like picture to Facebook or something to let people know that I'm out in public if they want to see me." And then everybody's just like, "Oh, Mike, if you'd have just gave me like a couple more hours, I'm in Baltimore." And I was like, "God, I wouldn't travel that far to see me." Like, imagine traveling that far to get let down.
Yeah,
I'm like, "Wow, God, look at this guy."
Well, I think that was my half-brained idea. Like, I think I told you about it earlier in the week. I was like, oh, that's probably, a lot of people there probably watch your stuff and enjoy your comedy. And so that's probably a good place for us to go set up. And then I think both of us forgot about it until it was Friday. And it's like, oh, yeah, we got to go.
You had reminded me that day I was editing a podcast. And during the edit, I had fucked it up because there's a software we use that's supposed to make it toddler-like to be able to edit a podcast. And somehow I still messed it up. So I was up, I started at around like 11 p.m. at night. And then I got done at noon the next day and then was posting it. And then I went to post it on YouTube. Went to take a nap so I could do the biker thing. And then when I got up, the Ethernet cable to the computer got unplugged because my wife will just unplug it. Because look, it's just like going through the house. It's not underneath the house or nothing like that.
Don't you have a crawl space?
Yeah, oh, I'm not going on these spiders. Fucking scary. What are you talking about? Me going in a crawl space. Look, hey, look how big I am.
Come on, toddler just fits all throughout your life, right?
Yes, pretty much. Like, guys, I know you guys follow me. And the longer this podcast goes on, the more people will get to like know Dylan. And I think Dylan is a guy you can respect. The longer y'all get to know me, you will understand. Mike is not a good, you're just like, look, we tolerate Mike and sometimes he's funny. But Jesus Christ, man, be a man. I didn't have a dad. Look, y'all can't blame me. I didn't have a father.
No, you had 3.
But they all left and then one did drugs. So that's where I got my drug habit from. Was my
stepdad.
Well, stepdad, and then also my real dad died 72 heroin overdose. So I think I already told that story.
Yeah,
so I don't know why I told it like it was breaking news.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with podcasts. Some people start at the most recent one and work their way back. Some people start at the beginning and work their way forward. So little hints and clues dropped through. I think I saw a recent comment about somebody like, where do we get to hear the Mike lore? And like, technically we've had 2 or 3 episodes that went pretty deep into some Mike lore.
Right.
But,
We've not gotten really into Dylan lore. We got to do that.
yeah.
It's got to be some weird. There's got to be something weird in there.
Oh,
like,
there's a bunch of crazy stories.
we
but-
need a look for the podcast to pop off. And I do want to thank the listeners, by the way, because we have been on we've charted on the Apple Podcast comedy charts since April 28th, which is dope.
Yeah,
all right, look,
super
moving
super
on
epic.
up. But to get to number 1, man, we need a Kanye West sucking his cousin's dick at 14 story. Did you see that?
That was a story? That's
Well, he
legit?
tweeted it. He tweeted it. Brother, you know how in comic books they'll hang like the superhero over a vat of lava? Mm-hmm. Couldn't get that story out of me. I would hold that in and slowly dip into the lava. You could not get that. And people are going to be like, God, well, fuck, Mike tells everything. I wouldn't tell a story about... I do need to now say that I've never sucked a cousin dick, okay? I've never sucked a dick at all. But Kanye West, for some reason, yeah, he tweeted that out. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. I like to think that Kanye West lives in a perpetual state of like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're awake. Like he just lives that state. Cause people understand like 4 o'clock in the morning, you'd be like, man, I'm going to start like losing weight. I'm going to change my life. And then like 30 minutes later, you're like, everything's been so hard, man. I got to work on me. That's what Kanye does just throughout his day. Technically it's sad because, he went real crazy when his mama died, which makes me all the more grateful that I had a terrible family, because nobody passing away in my family is just going to be like, besides like my kids and wife, as long as they're okay, I am going to generally be okay with like a family member passing. Like a family member could pass as long as it's not my wife or kids. I could do the podcast that day. Like, it's just like, man, fucking.
That's sad, but
fucking.
Gotta keep going.
Right. Yeah. So you guys know now, if I ever try to be like, things are rough, man. My mom died. We just started a Patreon. Go over there. No. Mike's not sad. Mike's not sad. That's just him trying to fucking pity y'all to get some money. I would never do that. All right. So I actually we have 3 stories today. So.
Well, 2 advice. So 2 people requested our take on their situations, and then one of them is just a outlandish "Am I the asshole?" I ran across, and I thought, I thought it was a good one to really dig into what that guy's going through.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, we got those 3. I also have a little bit of piece of paper that's like, say these so I don't forget them, because we'll do a whole podcast. Like, we won't shout out Labor Llama or nothing. We're not even trying over here, guys. No wonder we don't sell shit. All right. So May 13th, I just wrote May 13th, Lexington, NC cruising.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. So there's like a car show in Lexington, North Carolina. If you're close, hey, drop by, say hi. We'll be selling Labor Llama. You don't have to buy anything. A guy at the biker thing bought a hat and had me sign it. Which we
had to hunt down a Sharpie because we did not anticipate that. We didn't even show up with cash to begin with. Like, we showed up with the gear and like literally we're like, oh yeah, no, to sell we got to be able to give people change.
We're struggling, brother. Like we're chasing our ass a lot. But yeah, he had me sign the hat, which I mean can only depreciate the hat.
Yeah, as soon as you write on a hat, it's no longer worth new hat prices. So.
Right. I bet he saw me. He wasn't going to do it because it was like at the very end of the show. But he was like, man, Mike looks like a guy that could have a heart attack any minute. So let me go ahead and get this signature because it might be like, $5 added on to the hat. But yeah, on May 13th, Lexington, North Carolina, they have a car show every Tuesday.
It's the second Tuesday of every month throughout the summer, and we'll be set up out front of the River House, which is on 1st Avenue and Main Street. We have our clothes inside the store currently. You can buy them any day, but we'll be out there actually set up to try and just meet people at the car show.
So yeah, come meet us. And actually, if you get Dylan to sign something, I'm pretty sure that'll be the first thing he has ever signed. So if we ever die simultaneously, that'll actually probably be worth something. Have you signed anything? Have you autographed anything?
I haven't autographed anything. I write "Thank you for your support" on every single order that goes out.
I do too. The ones I see. Dylan does a lot of that. Like I said, without Dylan, Man, Dylan's my dude though, man. Like he is a straight bro. All right, so the second order of business is that we have started the Mike and Dylan Hate Drama subreddit, and that's just a place. There's so many people across all these platforms. It's hard to talk, get a general idea of like what the fuck's going on. We have no idea we're charted on Apple charts. All the statistics is just like, y'all got people listening. We don't know how many, but there's a good enough amount. We're just going to throw you up there. It's all confusing, but that's a cool place where we can discuss shit. I'll be active in the subreddit. Dylan will have to learn how to work. Fucking Jesus,
I know
had
how to
a
work
stroke.
subreddit.
Do you?
I just don't.
Well, I was going to make a joke and it was going to be real funny, but
You always call me grandpa, but I'm more technologically advanced. I just don't keep up with the gossip.
you got to stop, man, because now you're rubbing it in. I fucked up the joke and you're doubling down. You're just like, I do know how to work it. And now it just sounds stupid. Look, sometimes you flub your
that's
words.
funny too.
God. But yeah, there we're gonna vote on stuff. So we do want to do specials within like the podcast. We don't know what it's gonna be. Whether it's gonna be like a Mike Lore thing, we don't fucking know. We could do one where fucking at the end of every month, every 10,000 subs we got. Because right now we have our followers I don't know what podcast followers are, listeners. Listeners, we could do one where I drink a couple beers because that'd be funny because I don't drink beer at all. So what was it, 3?
What, 3 beers is what you said?
When
Yeah.
me and you drank.
Oh, yeah.
And I got pretty lit. Look, I got pretty lit. And y'all don't have to worry. Y'all ain't got to be like, well, Michael had a past with drugs. I wasn't out there sucking dick, okay? I wasn't like ruining my life with drugs. We were out there having a good time.
Just enjoyed them.
Yeah, everybody. The reason my wife made me quit is because the stigma with drugs. Everybody else is out there just like sucking dick for it. I'm like, listen, I can do drugs, work a 12-hour shift, come home and go to bed, do it all the next day. And she's like, yeah, but it's bad. I'm just like, how? I'm getting through the day. Like, literally not spending money on it. Shout out good grandmas, by the way. Because my grandma was just like, oh, yeah, I'm not taking these. Do you want them? And I was like, oh, sweet grandma.
Thank you,
Fuck up my
grandma.
life. Yeah. She's just like, no, go kill yourself on these, baby. Just fucking hand them to me. But yeah, we have it is called MADHD. What is it? r/MADHD for subreddits. Yeah. So look, he knows more about subreddits than I do. But yeah, I'm going to definitely be very active in that. But we could do some fun shit. And also that'll be a place where we can do like suggestions and stuff like that. Since you guys don't want to rate the podcast and comment. We get some. All right. And they're actually very inspirational because a lot of them were proving Dylan wrong. Because he said me saying mayonnaise dick was like taking it too far.
Nobody polled on that one.
That's the only one I haven't watched back because I was like, that felt like a fever dream after like I shot it, and you reminded me he shut me down during the little biker thing because he was like, yeah, man, you said like mayonnaise dick, and then you gave instructions on how to do cunnilingus, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't remember half of that. So I was like, I'm just not going to watch that one back. The feedback was positive though, so thank you.
No, I think it was hilarious. All I was saying was that we don't need to like go too far down any road. Kind of our proven track record of doing advice and the am I the assholes was like our lane, and so we didn't need to go into teaching full cunnilingus techniques, and then also maybe not go too far down the political because like towards the end we got a little.
Oh man, that was just a terrible.
I mean,
episode.
it's a great take. Like it was a great take, but I know it's not what people are coming to listen to. So.
Everything, man, is politics. You can't get the fuck away from it. I try to hide from that shit now. I'm just like, I don't know, guys. Stop asking me. I should be the last person. You should be like, Mike, what's going to fix this country? I'm like, I don't know. Big booty Latinas. I remember there was a politician. This was a story back. I don't know if you remember this story, but he was doing an interview or something, or took a screenshot of his computer, and one of his web browsers had porn, and it was like big booty Latinas. And I look at that with today's vision of being like, hey, if that came out, everybody in America would be like, well, we're glad it's not kids. All right.
Yeah,
Firstly, because everything is just like, kids. No one can just be like, into just normal stuff, adults. Secondly, I mean, come on, Hispanic women with the booties, like that's.
What was that one skit that we did? It was like big booty Latina dump trucks.com or something like that.
Yeah, we did one where Mike was caught looking at adult stuff at work, and it was Latina dump trucks, and then the plant manager wanted my login or something for it.
He's like, it's for therapy. It's therapeutic.
These are therapeutic Latina booties. All right, look, shuffle these up. We're going to get the first one started, and then we'll do some more banter. All right. So this is advice or?
Advice.
All right. So this is our first bit of advice. It starts off with, am I stupid? And I'm going to say yes because you didn't put Dear Mike and Dylan. So,
Dear Mike and Dylan.
I mean, Dear Mike and Dylan, I feel like Ellen DeGeneres. Like, not the bitch one, but like the nice one.
The fun one?
Yeah, when older women thought she was nice. Everybody else could look at Ellen and just be like, man, I bet she's mean. She's got like Disney knows how to shape people. She's got all the pointy features, and in Disney movies, that tells you who the villain is. the good people always have like the rounded snouts and stuff like that. And they just look real nice and cute. I'm gonna get into this. All right. Dear Mike, am I stupid? I currently work blue collar. I'm self-sufficient. I own a house, and I don't need anyone to financially support me. My girlfriend of the last 8.5 years recently decided to leave me. She works customer service. I don't know why that's a detail. I don't need her income and always accepted it as her money, but she states she has no savings and can't move out yet. Oh, too bad, bitch. You broke up with me. Should have thought about should
have thought of that as your exit strategy.
Should have had a new man lined up and gave him a 2-week notice. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. I'm sorry, you can't plan ahead.
See, you're using my advice from the last episode.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm smarter. She's already dating someone else. I don't have a problem with it because we're both allowed to move on. Okay, I'll make sure I read that right. However, I don't believe a woman would be okay, and in parentheses put, and experience it with my ex still living in my house. I have strong moral values and could not sling her out into the streets, not because I anticipate some sort of re-spark, because I know I'd be responsible for making someone homeless. I've always wanted to live morally, but no woman I've encountered wants to be with a man whose exes still live with him. I don't hate my ex, but I most certainly wouldn't take her back. But I question, am I being taken advantage of? Should I just send her packing? To me, it would be wrong to leave her on the streets, but at the same time, I feel it's making it harder for me to even justify bringing another woman into my life, because it would be a conversation I would want to avoid, because I would feel like I would be deceitful to start a potential relationship without divulging that information. Oh, I'm getting through it.
That's a good one. You did good,
I'm getting it.
Proud of you.
Everybody's like, man, he's become smart. He's become sentient. He'll be too strong. we gotta take him out. However, if I do, it will most likely lead to that woman not wanting to enter a relationship with me. So does my morality make me stupid, or does sacrificing my happiness make me morally just? Listen, I can tell just from the story that you're a good dude. Like, there is, I mean, let her live there. And then B, not want to start a relationship because she's living there, because you know you would have to divulge that information because you can't take it in, bro. You're a good dude. Kick the bitch out. Like, what are we doing? Like, so send her packing, brother. Well, once again, she decided to leave you, is already dating somebody else. You have no obligation to anybody. This is my take, because Dylan already looked like he wanted to say something. So I'm assuming I'm wrong right here. But you don't have any obligation to anybody. So kicking her out is not her. Listen, y'all were together 8.5 years. She's already dating somebody else. I assume, since you're not mad at this aspect, it's probably been a while that y'all been broken up. Okay? She should have already been able to figure out something in that time. And then if not, if y'all have just broken up and 2 weeks later she's with somebody, that means she had the backup lined up. And either which way, I'm saying, bye, in sync.
So my take on it is, like, how long have you guys been broken up? And really, ultimately, if you're going to do it first thing, like, if you guys are ready to move on, it means that it's been some time. But you need to put just, like, I wouldn't say, you're out tonight, move your shit. I would be like, hey, this can't go on. Like, this is weird. We're split. So, like, you got to find a new place. I'll give you like a month or whatever, like, put a deadline on it. And then also on the, like, meeting new women thing, like, adulthood is messy. Like, so they've seen some crazy shit, and like, you can, without disparaging, because that looks bad also, but like, you can be like, this chick won't leave. Like, I'm working on it, but like, I'm not we're not living together out of like desire. We're living out of necessity because she can't leave. And like, not to say that it won't fuck up a new relationship. It probably will. Like anybody, you'd have to be very accepting to accept that. But I think you're doing the right thing by not just like giving her the boot when you guys split. But you have to put a time frame on it, because otherwise she is taking advantage of you. She is, you know, she knows how nice of a guy you are. She knows that you're not just going to boot her, but like you've got to stand on principles at some point and be like, no, like this is the longest you get to stay. And then on that date, you will be removed from the house.
I think because they're both at a point of moving on. It's 8.5 years. I assume they've been broken up for a while.
Yeah.
So it's time for her to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
But like Dylan said, adults dating, from all the friends I've seen do it, it's only weird, and it's always the weirdest shit. So look, you're gonna be like, yeah, my ex still lives with me, and she was like, well, you know, the last guy I had, well, he didn't have a job, and then he pretended that he did have a job, that he was a firefighter, and he would leave at 2:00 in the morning to go save people, and then I found out he was actually a murderer. So you're like, man, just like a notch above that. Yeah. So like it's wonderful, but. Look, I mean, this is what we should do the polls on. We should do the polls on like when me and you have a disagreement. But I do agree with your take. So
I don't think we're disagreeing. I'm saying add a little, because he is a nice guy, and so he's not gonna feel right if he were to just give her the boot. But like if you give her a deadline, like she can't fight against that. Like it's very reasonable.
Yeah, you're not going to be the asshole in any way this works out, because you've given her that time, which you honestly didn't have to do. You didn't have to do that, and then you've put the Do you
want to hear some Dylan lore in this one?
Yeah. 1 second. Let me finish this, and we're going to have some Dylan lore. But he put the feelings of a person he's not even met yet, you know, ahead. He's already thought about that. So I think that, you know, you're good to go, brother. Just you know, give her a deadline, and then be like, and she's like, well, I can't. Be like, well, you're gonna have to figure it out. Then her new boyfriend's gonna be dating a homeless chick. That's all I say.
And if he doesn't let her stay at his house, then he's a dick.
Right, he is the asshole.
But no, there was this one relationship that I had a real tough time getting out of, and finally, like once we split, like. She had a key to my house. She didn't live there, but she had a lot of stuff there. You know, after years of dating, like things accumulate. And so like she had all this stuff at my house, and we split. She tried to like, you know, repair it. Oh, we can do this. And I was like, nah, we're just done. Finally, like it's
Please
the end.
Leave.
And so she had a key to the house, and YouTube is an amazing tool. I went on and learned how to rekey all my locks. So I just took all my locks off, put new pins in them, got it rekeyed. And so I think it was like a month later, she was like, I'm gonna come by and get all my stuff. I was like, I'll be at work all day. She's like, well, I'll just come by. I still have a key. And I was like, no, you don't. And she was going to bring her new boyfriend into my house to get her stuff out. And I was like, no way in hell. Like, that's just never going to happen.
I'll leave it on the front porch, brother.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I left it on the back porch in like this big box, and she like made it like I was an asshole for it. And I was like, no, you're trying to come when it's convenient for you. I'm at work. So no, you're not just, I'm not going to take the day off, and I'm not going to like hang out while you and your boyfriend pick up your shit. Like, but yeah, that's some Dylan lore. Like that's my mind. I hack my way into like saving some money and not taking all my locks off and taking them to a hardware store and getting them rekeyed or buy new locks. I just went on YouTube and was like, let's rekey a lock.
I wish I was that one upper friend that was just like, well, I had this one girl I had to change 2 sets of locks, and she had 2 boyfriends that she wanted to bring to my house, and we were just all gonna fight. I have no story like that. Sorry, guys.
Well, Mike would just be like, how do I do this?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
He would call me and be like,
I have to call an actual adult. Like, hey, brother, like, my car. Bro, what was it, when you came to my house to fix the flat? Mm-hmm. I can do that. I can fix a flat tire. And I've changed brakes too. I've done that. I used YouTube how to do that.
But Mike's driveway is like a downhill slope. It's like a black diamond if you were skiing. Like it's just like straight down, and he had parked down at the bottom, and then the tire went flat. So like there's no safe way to jack that car up and change the tire on that hill. Like you'd have to have wedges that literally like cupped the whole tire to keep it on that hill. And so I went by, and I have like a portable inflator. I inflated it just enough that he could back out of the driveway, and then we changed the tire up at the top of the hill instead of on a black diamond.
If people are wondering if I have trouble getting out of that driveway, yes.
Oh, dude,
it's terrible.
I've never pulled into it.
It's the worst driveway. It's just straight down. It's just fucking, you just go into a valley.
No flat spot.
There's zero flat stuff in the yard at all. And look, Lithy always tells me, she's like, Dad, the next house, she has way too much faith in me. She's like, the next house, can we just get like a flat yard? That's all I want. And I'm just like, man, that would be great.
Yeah.
Like just like a flat driveway. I don't have to do any like weird shit to get out of it. It's fucking terrible. All right, so we're gonna get into the next one, shuffle it up, and
we'll just go.
The thing I love doing the banter though. Obviously, people like the stories, which thanks, guys.
Well, I think they just don't want us to interrupt the middle of the story, go on a 5-minute bender, and then go back to the story.
Get through it. And I feel like I did a good job about that.
Oh, no, I think that was great.
I listen to the feedback, guys, and I adapt. I adjust, all right? Michael's not all dumb. There's a piece of him in there that calculated. Listening, all right? Just putting pieces together. I'm telling you, one day I'll be too powerful.
Brooding.
All right. Oh, this is the Am I the Asshole? So... did they actually put the Am I the Asshole?
Yeah, that was theirs.
Because instead of AITA, they did AITAH.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Asshole is one word. It's like CUTNT. You don't put the two in acronym, buddy. You're a bunch of cunts. Look, Dylan walked away. I can't speak anymore.
I had to get some nicotine.
You gotta get some what?
Nicotine.
Oh, Dylan's getting some nicotine. I wish I could get some nicotine, but I smoke actual cigarettes. A lot of people vape. I like all natural cancer. Like I like the organic version. Analog.
Yeah, vaping.
I don't know.
So analog is cigarettes, like regular cigarettes, and then digital is vaping.
And that is a reference to
Just old school, like analog tapes versus.
Oh, what is that? The analog tapes? Is that
Like
what the ones with the tapes? Okay, yeah. See, I get it. I am 32. Dylan's like 40 something, so a bit of an age gap. You know, he'll talk about him, you know, going down the road on his Walkman listening to Run DMC, and I'm just like, well, calm down, Grandpa. I don't know any of that shit. All I know is Kanye West tweeted that he sucked his cousin's dick, and people got off that real quick. I'm like, what? I'm still processing it. I was like trying to do a deep dive on it. And just everybody's on to like new stuff.
Well, as long as it was consensual, it's less of a story.
No, I think he was 14 and his cousin. I don't.
Okay.
Look, I'm gonna look it up on my phone because I'm not getting sued. We're gonna look up the real Kanye tweet because I was about to name shit and like it could. And Kanye West would be the person to sue like a fucking no name podcast. Yeah. He would and do a whole diss track on it, which I'm cool with that.
Didn't he make a diss track after that South Park gay fish episode?
I don't know. He mentioned South Park nailed it with the gay fish. He is a gay fish. And if you wonder how many dicks does it take to suck to make you gay, one. That's it. That's the singular one. Doesn't matter how much mouthwash. But people will say bisexual. I'm like, listen, that's once again gay with a little added on. That's still in the realm of gayness. I gotta look up this tweet though, so I can get the.
So to go back to the Mike giving me hell about being ancient, my first cassette tape that my parents bought me was, I think the guy's name was Skilo, and it was, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. All right,
so I'm going to read the actual tweet so I can't get... Why's my phone being like, I'm going to give you this in fucking 360p. All right. Give me the damn tweet. Look, it's just like, oh, here it is, but it's super blurred out. For the listeners at home, I'm looking at this actual tweet. All right, so this was the tweet. And this is word for word. I'm not going to interrupt so I can get the full quote, the full thing in, all right? Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy. This song is called Cousins, about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Yee, and I sucked my cousin's dick till I was 14. So
he's saying from 6 to 14.
No, his cousin was 6. We don't know how old Kanye was. That's 8 years of dick sucking. It's rough. Look, I understand people have traumatic lives. I don't know. I kind of after reading the tweet, I just want to get off of it. I don't even want Kanye to even reference this now. I feel awkward. I don't know if Kanye, he probably grew up in a lot of turmoil. I know like Heartless and like Graduation, shit like that. I'm no Kanye expert. I do know he's been off the rails for a long time. I hope he finds the help he needs, because the Jesus ain't working right now. All right. Jesus is like, well, I'm putting these therapists in his life. There's only so much I can do. I have worked so many miracles for this man. He won't. Jesus Christ. Am I the asshole for kicking out my girlfriend's sister and her kids out of my flat after my girlfriend gave her the keys? Okay. Am I the asshole for kicking out my girlfriend's sister and her kids out of my flat after? Okay. All right.
Yeah. The girlfriend gave away his keys.
Oh, yeah.
Which is super
what?
fun.
Yeah.
It's a pretty wild story.
This is the last guy was just like, look, this is my ex. This is a girlfriend's sister. Get the fuck out. And her kids. I don't even like my kids. I wish I could kick them out. Nah, they're adorable. Sometimes. People around me are saying I'm an asshole, but I need the perspective of uninvolved people. My long-term girlfriend has apartment keys as I have hers. Only unspoken until now, but always respected. But the always respected rule was, if you need to go to the other place, just send a text. Hey, going out to your place. Doesn't matter if it's at home. Doesn't matter if the other is at home or even responds. Just simply tell the other you will be at their place.
Seems like a solid rule. Like, just, hey, heading over to your place.
But there's already like questions. I mean, like she has, just go to my boyfriend's house and move in. Bring your kids. I was supposed to be 700 kilometers from home for 2 weeks for work-related stuff. You could tell this is not American, or he would have put like I was, 300,000 flamingos or deep freezers. I was 9 end table lengths away from my house.
435 miles.
435 miles, man. I don't know who decided to just switch. Everybody else uses the other shit. We're the only one that use.
Well, there's like
ours is called imperial, and theirs is called metric, right?
Yeah.
Look at, oh man,
you're a genius.
I'm so smart. God, I like it though. I mean, it really like separates us.
Makes measurements really hard over here, though.
It does make it so hard, especially when like all the sports are using the other shit. So.
How many inches are in a mile? How many miles does it take to?
Well, if there's 12 inches in a foot, and then there's 5,820 feet in a mile, so 5,820 times 12, that's going to be around 72,360 inches. Look it up. How many inches in a mile? I got it wrong. I did it way too quick. I could have done it better. All right. How many inches? I'm going to be so off in a mile. My brain stopped halfway through. 63,000. I suck, man.
360.
Which is stupid because is it not 58,000?
It's 5280 or like what?
How many feet are in a mile? How many feet in a mile? Oh, 5,280. I thought it was 5,820. God, I would be a genius if I'd have got that, bro. Bro, people would like share that just to be like, fucking look how smart this guy is. But I'm not, because I even got the other calculation wrong too. If it was 5,820 times 12, it'd have been 69,000. So I was still off. I tried to do it too quick. I'm not good at math. It's okay.
That was pretty good to get even in the ballpark, though.
All right, in the ballpark? Come on.
All right, we're rambling.
Listen, yeah, I'm in the ballpark of being a genius. Like if I'm in the outfield, okay? Genius is at home plate. I'm just standing right outside the stadium.
You're genius adjacent.
Yeah, but I'm far adjacent. Like I'm pretty good ways. All right. I was supposed to be 700 kilometers away or from home for 2 weeks for work-related stuff. But 4 days in, and our instructor got into an accident. Work tried to find another one, but no such luck on very short notice. They decided at like 10 p.m. to get us the first flight home the next day at like 6 a.m., pay us the overtime, and the next day at home, then resume our normal work schedule. That's always nice. All right, well, we fucked up, but we got to pay you all this money. Nice.
That's Europe.
Yeah, that is not America. America would be like, so you do have the work. We're only going to pay you half because we forgot to put the numbers in, and you got to walk back. So I get home the next day at like 9 a.m., Sent a text to my girlfriend to tell her I am back. Getting to my door, I am very confused hearing children scream inside since none of the people who have my keys have kids like that. I'm sorry, it was all wrong. I thought I had squatters or something. Opening the front door, and I see my girlfriend's sister's kids running around after a shower, putting water everywhere. Plates of half-finished ravioli on my living room ground. Their suitcases open in the entrance. I get in and see the husband on my couch trying to hook up my PS2 that he must have digged out from my storage room. Getting into a verbal argument with him, trying to understand why the fuck they're even there. Said my girlfriend told them they could get my flat for 2 weeks while I was gone. Parentheses, they wanted to visit the city for a bit, go to the beach. My girlfriend sent me a text while I was arguing telling me, oh, okay, by the way, my sis fam is at your flat. Just throw that in there. I admit I blew up on him and the sis who left my bedroom in the meantime. Told them to leave immediately. They argued quite a bit. My girlfriend called her sis. Then sis put up the speaker so we could all hear, and said I was embarrassing her, that she told them they could use my place for a while. I threatened to call the police. Also asked my brothers to come. They left while cursing me to their children, telling that the holidays are over because the mean little sister's boyfriend cast us out. I now have all of my girlfriend's family on my back, and even some of my own family, saying I could have stayed with my girlfriend so the kids could have their vacation. Also, they have read my doctor's prescription papers. I put them in specific order and it was not the same. And obviously took some of my prescribed meds, opened a box of benzos. That's, I guess, the big word for it. I'm not reading all that. Am I the asshole for making them leave? We pretty much stopped talking about anything else with my girlfriend. I feel like I am being gaslit. I would never invite people to her apartment like that, especially without telling her. So it seems so disrespectful. Am I going insane? Not the asshole. So, this is the weirdest situation ever. And the literal bad person is your girlfriend. Like, she is 100% in the wrong. I imagine if anybody listening to this was told by a sibling, hey, I got you a place you can stay here. They don't mind. I'm gonna be like, oh, they've already talked it through. There's just no way she was like, hey, I didn't tell my boyfriend, so y'all gotta like clean up which maybe she did. I don't know.
Might have. Yeah.
Right. Just make sure you clean up everything and don't like get it so he doesn't know anybody was there.
They might be like a shitty family and he didn't realize.
It's weird. And I do feel bad for like the kids because they had no involvement in that.
Well, and even the sister and brother-in-law or whatever you call that, for like technically they're not the ones in the wrong. Like they didn't have the key and just squat. Like the girlfriend is ultimately the one responsible.
But I do think like once it's known, he didn't give you permission. You just got to like shut the fuck up. Yeah. I do like how he called his brothers.
Yeah.
His brothers coming to whoop ass. Like that's the only time you don't call brothers to be like, come be my support. Here's the thing, if he was the fighting brother, he'd have just like handled it right there. He'd just beat up dad in front of his kids and it would have been a very, very bad vacation. But once he's like, I called my brothers, I was like, oh, they're coming to whoop ass. Like they beat him up his whole life. He knows that for a fact. They were coming to whoop some ass. Yeah, it is unfortunate though for them because that's probably where they had for whatever vacation they had. I don't know if he mentioned where he lived at.
Well, see, the thing that in some of the comments, I think we should start adding like the best comment and the worst comment to these, like as a back end to like what the other people's take is. But like the way that I saw it and the way that some of the comments were is like, homegirl should have just let them use her apartment and then she stayed at the boyfriend's apartment. Like then everything's good and he wouldn't mind at all. Like, hey, I'm just crashing at your place while my family's in town. No problem at all. But like you show up to your house after not expecting anybody to be there and there's fucking multiple kids and shit all over the floor and
ravioli
digging out my PS2.
That's where it gets like super disrespectful. Like you can't go through his shit then because I know they're not like, this is a fucking hotel. You can go through everything. Like they took some of his prescription medicine. That's where they just kind of turn into like fuck shit people. And half-ass makes me believe that she was just like, that they knew that they didn't have permission to be there because I don't know how the girlfriend even tells that where she's just like, hey, yeah, y'all can stay over there. But make sure you, like she had to throw in the make sure you clean up because it had to be like they knew. And then that's so weird to be like, come in and another man's hooking up your PlayStation 2.
Yeah, you don't touch my PlayStation 2.
The 2, yeah, I pull that out for special reasons, buddy. Like before fucking NCAA football came back to the, you know, the new gen consoles. That's when you pull out you play some fucking San Andreas. Like you're pulling that out for some like memories.
Nostalgia.
Sit down in the middle of the floor, and then you got this fucking guy who's high on your Xanaxes playing your PlayStation. Nah, see, I'm the beat up brother. I'm not the one they call. I don't call my if I called my brothers, they'd be like, man, I would, but I ain't got to call. Fucking. I would. That's what sucks, man. Like when the shit gets rough, I'm the only person that has my back. I just gotta I gotta handle it. I gotta figure out ways to fucking handle it.
Yeah.
All my good friends are like the really nice people too. Like I could call you and I could call Mitchell. But you two are going to be like, all right, we're going to think about this.
Maybe you think it through.
Right,
maybe,
yeah, we don't.
Like you're probably going to go to jail if you do this thing that you want to do.
Right, you're like, there needs to be no fighting in this. And I'm just like, no, I think we should. He's playing the trumpet. Like he's playing the fucking trumpet. Fuck the trumpet kid, man. The trumpet kid still, I get so fucking mad to this day.
There's a kid in the city that he lives in the city.
I did not know he was a kid.
He's practicing his trumpet or I think it was a trombone, but
Sunday night at 9 p.m.
He was practicing it out on like their back stoop, and Mike calls me up. He's like, "This fucking kid, every time I try to press record, he starts belting out."
It was only when I hit record though. Like it could not have been planned anymore. Like he knew when I was hitting the record. And what's so funny too is I'm gonna shove that trumpet up his ass. I have Lithy with me, by the way, because she's like recording it for me. I'm like, I'm gonna shove that trumpet up his ass. And she was just like, Dad, like you gotta like stop. And I'm like, I don't even know where the fuck it's coming from. He's like right there, and like the guy's just like standing over there. And I was just like, motherfucker. I was boiling alive for like 4 days on the inside.
Still, when he sees him, he's like, fucking trumpet
kid. Fucking. I didn't know he was a kid. And man, there was an anger.
Who else plays a fucking trumpet besides like a military band?
Gen X. Like, listen, we should do one where we should do like a episode where we just like roast every generation. But that's a Gen X thing because listen, they're called the forgotten generation. It's not because like I don't have any problems with like any specific Gen X, okay? But the shit they post, like they'll be like, "Yeah, we're the last generation that drank out of the water hose." No, you didn't. I did.
Poor people did.
That's a poor thing, brother. Like they weren't even the last latchkey kids. Like the early millennials, they were still like latchkey kids. You're the forgotten generation because you're just boring, man. Like you're boring. You do nothing. Y'all have done nothing. Y'all don't set records. Y'all don't do anything. Like at least the millennials, Gen Z, and like boomers, they're like real crazy with the politics. So they're always like in the news. Fucking boomers are ruining shit. Gen Z's like shooting stuff up. They're staying relevant. Okay. Gen X, they do nothing all the time. Never. They're so boring. They're the ones that make like whatever hobby they get into their whole entire personality. Like they'll go and drink a coffee from a place and then they'll learn all about that coffee and then everything about coffee. And that's them. I'm the coffee guy. Like, oh man, this is my thing. I'm the coffee guy. They're the ones that started the whole IPA movement, CrossFit, all that shit. But I'd like to hear Gen X's response on. It was a lighthearted joke, guys. Don't get in your panties. We don't lump people by generations, okay? We know everybody's different. It is a funny thing to say though, because there is a lot that are just like with the IPAs and the.
I was an IPA guy.
And I know, but you're right there at Gen X. Like you're like licking Gen. When did Gen X end?
I don't know, like 83 or something like that.
Yeah, but they do that, man. They're just like, oh, I'm the coffee guy. Oh man.
It's funny though, because I never really put all those things together, but yeah, there is a lot of personalities. Like CrossFit is a personality, coffee is a personality, like woodworking is a personality. Like
as soon as you make drugs your personality, like people are like, oh, that's so sad. That's not sad.
Dedicated.
Like beer. Think about beer and how many lives are ruined from alcohol. Way more than drugs. But if I'm just like you can tell, this is what's so weird. You could tell, you'd be like, yeah, I just had a couple beers and went and played some pool. And you're like, ah. But if you're like, man, yeah, I just smoked a bowl of meth and just went and played. Everybody's like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, well, you're just dropping that. So I was really good at pool, brother. I fucking stayed up 12 hours playing pool. Hard drugs, I get it. But like the light drugs, I hate when people call weed a drug.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of marijuana, which It sucks though, because a lot of like comedy and like the popular people now is all like weed centric, and I feel like I'm not going to be able to get there unless I like poser with the weed.
Nah,
Like,
you don't.
man, I smoked a fucking blunt yesterday, or however they talk about the
However
weed
the
in the
cool
strain.
kids talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. I'm just like, man, I like to. I don't know. I like to do stuff where I'm still functioning, where I'm still like, okay. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't like the stuff. I'm an upper guy. You know this. It's not like you know this because I do a whole bunch of drugs in front of them. But the drugs I like,
stories.
yeah, they're uppers. I'll just like if shit hits the fan, I want to be present. Like I don't want to be drunk. You can't get undrunk. And people would be like, well, you know, if something happens, you can get unhigh. Like I was like that when I smoked weed. Someone could get stabbed in front of me. I'm just like, oh God, like I'd just be frozen. I don't like it. It makes me so lazy and I eat so much. More than, and people are like, fuck, Mike's fat now. Like I eat to an extent where I'm worried about myself.
Yeah, we drank some THC drinks last night while Jess was doing her plant thing, and I had a couple THC beverages, and when I got home, I was like, why am I so hungry? And
You gonna shout them out since they're our friends?
yeah, so locally here in Lexington, Bull City Cider Works has now moved into the THC space with a brand called Flowers. And so Flowers is a very tasty beverage.
And I don't know if they put the made with real THC on their packaging. They haven't? No. Oh man, why? Is it like they can't legally do it? Or?
I don't know. Their design looks good.
It does look good. I told them to do that. So if you're a THC beer place, if you put that on there, people are going to be like, they're going to separate in their mind. They're going to differentiate you from the CBD things because it's not CBD. It's like real THC. And then me and Dylan had to do the whole taste test with it. And you know, I'm not good with beer or THC, which just has no actual beer in it. But I was just like, man, my face was numb. I was just like, man,
Oh, yeah, you were pretty lit. I think you didn't even finish your first whole can.
no. And I have no tolerance for that stuff, which I mean, I guess that's good too, is like, even with drugs, I don't know. I'm fucking built like a walrus. I just have no tolerance for anything. So that's really good too. I guess that's why I didn't get to like the dick sucking part of drugs. The real, like, it's so weird too when you're like, so I'm gonna give them just a little backstory on it, and then we'll get to the final story. But essentially, it was in the 2010s, middle of 2010s. I tripped over a dog gate, and I went to the hospital because I fucked up my back. And you know, I didn't have money to go to a doctor, so I just had to go up there. So my back was fucked, like it was like locked up. I couldn't move. So the doctor just looks at it and he's just like, yeah, you probably pulled something. And then he gave me some muscle relaxers, and then he gave me this shit called tramadol. All right. So tramadol is like a non-narcotic, or that's how it was labeled when it first came out. It was non-narcotic. So I get home and me and Amy watch Happy Gilmore, and I'm so excited. But I'm like, oh, my back hurts. So I take 2 of them. Because the way the doctor told it to me, he was like, it's like Tylenol. You know, just like a little stronger. I was like, oh, okay. So I take 2 of them. And it's like 20 minutes go by. And I'm like, my back still hurts. So I take 2 more.
Oh, Jesus.
My back still hurts. So I take 2 more. Like you, brother, like this shit was crazy, the road I went down on this. But I'm sitting there and I'm like rubbing like Amy's leg. And I'm like, what's happening? Because like I'm rubbing my wife's leg and I'm just like enjoying it. And I'm like sitting there looking at Amy and I'm just like talking to her like real empathetically. Like I can't stop talking. And then there was a moment that hit, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm high." I was like, "Oh shit, I'm high on this." So that's what kind of started that whole road. But I did that, man, up until I want to say like, 5 years ago was when I finally was able to just like really. It might even be like sooner than that. Which I know it sounds terrible, guys. I was working in a fucking box shop, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was doing my goddamn job, and like I said, my grandma also got them prescribed, but she was like, I don't like them because they give me seizures sometimes. I was like, well, you should tell your doctor that. Like, fucking Jesus. But she would give me, and she got a lot of them. So shout out, mama. I was on them bitches for a while. And then finally I got off of it because like it was making my body like do twitching stuff. And now there's a whole bunch of horrible shit coming out about like how to fucking, it sets people up for early Alzheimer's and shit. And I'm like, oh great. My life's fucked because I tripped over a dog gate. But people do like cocaine and stuff like that and the regular drugs, and there's like no lasting side effects. But then as soon as doctors are like, we want to create a drug to get people off of the bad drugs.
that won't get you high.
That we gave to everybody. For literally no reason. They'd be like, oh, your shin hurts sometimes? Fucking take these oxycodone. And then they were like, oh, nope, we got to fucking restrict all of that and then give everybody like weak shit. That weak shit that they gave out was, that shit fucking, that's probably, I want to say, like the most dangerous shit that I've ever taken too. Like at 350 milligrams, you had a risk of having granular seizures. So the person I used to do it with, which they are related to me, and they were like the ones that kind of like they were like the mathematicians behind it. He was like, yeah, you could take gabapentin so you could do more of it. And I was like, brother, I'm not. I was like, I'll just like take 2 weeks off to like reset my tolerance and then like do them. That's what I would do is I would take 2 weeks off to reset my tolerance. I'm not going to fucking, yeah, he was just like, he would take like 25 at a time.
Holy shit.
7, you were at like great odds to have a seizure. And I'm like, look, you can fucking live your life, King, but gee, I'm not going to do that.
You feel like, though, tramadol, like, you've seen Half Baked, right? Where Dave Chappelle goes in and he's talking about, like, being addicted to weed, and everybody, like, just roasts him. He's like,
right,
that's not a fucking drug.
Right. So that was so funny, too, because, like, with the pill heads I would run into, because I still did, like, shit. Like, I would do Percocet sometimes. Very rarely. And some of the, because once again, I'm never going to pay for it. But if I go to a friend's house and he's like, hey, I got these, I'm just like, oh, what a bro. Like, what a great guy right here. Like, free. Because they literally went from like $2 for like Perk 5s to $1 a milligram. So Perk 10s were like going for around 10. I'm like, look, I am not financially stupid enough to spend all of my money on drugs. I'm just like, bro, after like bills and groceries, I have a finite amount of money that I cannot spend on this stuff. And then people would be like, bro, are you really addicted? Like, would you even steal from a family member? I'm starting to believe that your heart is just not into doing drugs. I never really felt like to Amy, I was a drug addict. But to like all my drug addict friends, they were like, nah, Mike's just like a guy who does drugs. Like sometimes.
Casual user.
Yeah, everybody. People would be like, that. A lot of people would be like, yeah, you're just like a casual user. I would use every single fucking day. But
you never sucked a dick for it, so you're just casual.
No, so I wouldn't use it on like the weekends when I was just with my kids. But I was so fucking responsible with it. And Amy was just like, yeah, I'm a responsible drug user. And I didn't like snap on people. I wasn't like fucking going through withdrawals or anything. Honestly, when I quit too, it was rather fucking easy. But I remember she used to give me just like a hard time about it. And I'd be like, she's like, you just got to see the danger in doing this stuff. And I'm like, well, I go to work for 12 hours and it makes my 12 hours like not as bad. And, I'm probably more enjoyable to be around. But yeah, if you say they're terrible, fucking. The thing that did get me to quit though is like the Tylenol in it. So I was like, I don't want to. That's the crazy part. When
the over-the-counter drug.
Yeah, the over-the-counter stuff that fucks up your liver. I was just like, yeah. Oh, bro, I bet my shit's just like beat the fuck up. He's struggling in there. But yeah, one day we'll get into like a lot of the Mike lore stuff. But
we'll drip it out.
Yeah, we'll drip it out.
So this one is an advice from one of the listeners. And he said he was going to make it short. He did not make it short.
He did not make it short. It is pretty long. But that's like, I don't look down on anybody who does drugs. But especially like if someone's like, yeah, man, that dude fucking, like there's been some people that do crazy drugs too. There was a guy at one of the flooring places I worked at. And they would always talk about, yeah, he spends all of his money on meth. I was like, motherfucker's here every day. Like, and they'll be like, that's what he does all weekend. Doesn't have family. Shut the fuck up, bro. Let dude live his life. Like he's literally affecting nobody with what, like if he had kids and shit like that, and like, they were homeless and stuff, I'd be like, hey brother, maybe you should if you have your priorities straight. If someone's listening right now, look, terrible advice right here. If you're listening right now and you're like, man, I got to stop doing this stuff, but you're out there fucking getting shit done, doing your responsibility, you do them drugs, brother. All right, let me get into this advice right now.
As long as nobody is being negatively impacted by nobody in your family or, yeah.
That's what I'm saying too, man. Is like you can do what the fuck you want in life as long as you're not like fucking being a detriment to somebody else's life.
Yeah.
But a lot of the biggest problems in America is like people will do their own thing and then other people will have problems with it.
Yes.
It's so crazy. All right. He says I'll try to keep it tidy, boys. But forgive me if I get long-winded. I'm feeling petty. I work for a fairly significant outfit. They are in business of trading cheap and convenient Chinese items for an amount of dollars, whether they come from the family or a tree. I'm so glad I got that quickly. Pause to get the reference. I did. Okay. Also, not sure if I should use my name. We'll just call me 33 male. I work in the warehouse where common sense is an absolute, non-applicable characteristics for anyone considered for management. Put simply, we get to ask to do some really dumb shit that almost never makes sense. We're about to be sold, as in our parent company don't give a fuck about us but our supervisors, and are under the impression that if they show out some magic man from our new owners, or that if they show out some magic man from our new owners will walk up and hand them the golden key to keep their job. That's a lot of shit. Normally, they would let them all go, bring in their own people. So to put it nicely, everyone is losing their fucking minds. One week we're being shut down, and the next it was never a possibility. So in the last little bit, I started to get burned out and lay down ever so slightly. I feel like I normally pick up a lot of slack, mainly because I don't know how to say no, and then boil over when wondering why I'm so agreeable. Anyways, I thought a good example would be when I was inspiring to land a day shift position, which requires me having 0 write-ups, which I thought was over with. I was very careful. No one knew I had applied for the job, as they tend to create write-ups out of thin air if they can't afford to lose you. Anyways, I was driving a cherry picker with all of its blind spots. Way too late, I noticed that our local illiterate village idiot, in parentheses he put, who's so smart he brags about getting off the sex offender registry on a technicality, but that's another story. Why he lives, I have yet to understand. By technicality, he's driving a tugger, pulling a dumpster on wheels, very heavy, and pulls out directly in front of me. While my equipment takes some time to stop, by the time it did, I looked to see a green dumpster completely upside down, the hitch laying 40 feet away from it. Then I looked to my right. Through the cloud of concrete debris, I see a shocked little man who knows he fucked up bad, screaming, "I had no brakes," to which I replied, "We have cameras." When management shows up, no one wants to deal with OSHA, or OCSHAI. I think he's trying to say OSHA. So it gets swept. 2 weeks later, during a documented and videoed equipment malfunction, in parentheses, after learning I had put in for day shift, I get a write-up. I love my job, not the managers, and I don't know if I can fathom staying long enough to see the turnover, which I could possibly come out smelling like a rose. Do I stay? Is it worth it? There are many more instances of this shit too. Love the POD. I love the videos. Oh, sorry. I love the pod. I love the pod. I love the videos. I've been here for a while, boys. Glad to watch you grow. The bailouts, best of luck. I hope one day you boys have money. Everyone's trying to get out of you. I know it's long. At least I tried to punctuate. Also, just a little feedback. Tell people to type out their story in a text and copy paste. Doing it here in real time is difficult to proofread with the very tiny point of view on the website. All right, so not an asshole. And you got it, man. That's what I'm saying. That's why I liked working at a box shop where like anything went, because you could get real fighty real fast. Like you could show your anger. That's the one thing I don't like, is a write-up to stop you from doing something. Like, at least, that's what I can say, man. Like, where I worked, they called it like gladiator school. All the other box shops did, because it was rough. And if you worked there, they were like, "Oh, we can't wait to have you, because y'all motherfuckers work like
in the thick of it."
Like, yeah, like y'all are going to get murdered after the shift is over if you don't like complete your job. But what's cool about a shitty company, like the hours and shit like that, is that if you do have management that you can fuck with, or people there that you work with that are cool, it makes it a whole lot better. So we didn't have to really deal with like the real fuck shit. I didn't have to deal with that till I went to Thomasville, and I'll get into that on a later day. But yeah, they never did the shit where they would, like, if someone wanted to move to first, say there were 2 operators wanting to move to first. This happened with me and a guy named Brian. All right, Brian was the second shift operator. He had worked behind, I don't want to be name dropping a whole bunch of people, but he worked behind the second shift operator. He went to go work on the corrugator. So then the first shift operator, he leaves to go to a different box shop, and the first shift job is available. Now, it is between me and Brian who gets this job. You can use it. I have recently made up with him, so we're pretty cool. All right, but like I said, when I first, and this was like my first like real job too. So I was very competitive. I wanted to learn everything about it. Honestly, I was kind of a ass kiss. I wasn't like ass kissing management, but I was like trying like.
You were doing a good job.
Right, I was doing a real, like, I was like model employee. Like, I would come in an hour early to talk with like the operator, or I'd stay an hour late to talk with the other operator. Like, I was very, and the thing that killed that was they had a pay ceiling, so they couldn't give raises. And I was like, oh, I'm doing all this shit for no fucking reason. But they wouldn't do shit like that. So it's between me and him who's going to be able to go on to first shift. And they just like rounded us up, and they were like very blunt about it. They were like, look, Brian, first shift is when the visitors come in and you suck. Like that's you're not very good at it. You've had time to get good at it. You've chosen not to do it. And this guy right here, fucking comes in all the time. Bro, it was like I did such a good job. I walked out of that company like 3 times. I was like, fuck you, walk out. Like you fucking eat a dick, drove away, I quit. And then the next day I come back in and they just be like, hey, bud, you going over to your machine, Mike? I'd be like, yeah. And they're like, all right.
All right. You quit and then.
Yeah, the next day, I just like walk back in and be like, hey guys. Yeah, like I said, I got into the altercation when we were working the weekend. I like yoked them up. Didn't even get wrote up for that. They just kind of. They even like went over to him and was like, well, maybe you shouldn't be a dick on these days. Well, he was one of those guys. He was older too. That is just like normally snappy with people. He's like I didn't have my coffee guy, which is just a lame excuse for you being an asshole. Just say, hey, I suck in the mornings. Like I'm not a good person. I have to, fucking wake up for that. Then me and the third shift supervisor, we got into an altercation, like a little shoving match. Technically, I didn't shove him. So look, now I'm getting into potatoes. I'm saying the guy's not the asshole, okay? Your company's shitty. And I'm just saying, you gotta yoke somebody up sometimes.
Well, yeah, and I think, honestly, if you've got an out, then go look for an out. Like, if things are in a tumultuous situation anyways, like you're getting bought and all these other things, you never know whether you have a job. It wouldn't hurt to go looking.
Right.
But, if you like your job, then look without the intention of leaving. But just go look around. It's an open market out there. Just see where else your skills could be used. And, ultimately, I think you're probably going to come out smelling like roses because that guy seems like a fuck up. But, what if it doesn't? You at least have something to be looking forward to.
Yeah. So I'm going to, we got through the stories almost tanner free.
Yeah.
I'm very, very proud of that. So I'm going to get into a couple stories from when I was working because people do like this stuff. And a lot of people came from the work thing. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to tell you guys one story. I have a brief one, though. When I started working there, I was working on first shift, and I was only supposed to be an assistant on third. But the third shift guy, he quit. So they were like, do you have machine operator experience? Because they just brought me in from a temp service. I was like, fuck yeah, man, all the time. I run these bitches machines day and night. And they're like, what kind of machines? I was like,
the big ones.
Presses and brakes and extruder. And I was just like trying to throw every word out there. And they were like, fucking good enough. I was like, you think you can learn this? And it's like my second day of learning how to be an assistant. I was like, fucking give me a week. Bro, I was struggling. I was so worried. That's why too, because up until then, like their top pay was like $17.50. And brother, if you like where I came from, nobody in my family ever made that. My whole family, bro, we're just look, Dollar General's like our fucking, that's our ceiling. So I was like, man, I really have to, try. And before this, I was a bit of a fuck up and couldn't hold a job. So like I said, I would come in early and all that shit. So it was like 4 months in and they're about to hire me on full time, or the 90 days they're about to hire me on full time. And I didn't know like that was a thing. So I didn't know to not do anything. So the first shift supervisor, which dope dude, like I said, him, Steve, rest in peace. The third shift guy, not so much. We'll get into a thing about him in 1 second. But the first shift walks up to me and he's like, hey, bud. I was like, hey. And he was like, so your 90 days is up. And I was like, yeah, I'm ready to get hired on. How does that process look like? He was like, well, I take you into the office and then we send you off to have a drug test. And then he just like kind of looked at me and I was like, oh, a drug test? And he was like, walk out the side door. And I was like, what do you mean walk out the side door? He's like, walk out the side door because if you walk up to the front door, HR is going to know you're here and then we're going to have to take you to the office. And I was like, oh, okay, thank God. So I walked out the side door and then I knew like next Monday to be all right and have everything. So they were a really dope place. The third shift guy was not. This man just, I want to say, like, he worked his way up. That's one thing I can say about that company is everybody worked their way up. All the managers did, which usually creates a good manager, except this guy worked his way up a long fucking time ago.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to bring in his friend who worked his way up to being plant manager, put in that fucking, like I said, they were a family company. So when I had started, they had just stopped being a family company. So we still had the good, like, family company traits that went along in there. Everybody's fucking, degenerates, and we're fucking just getting our way through a shift. But he had worked his way up a long time ago. And this guy he was Mr. Do the best you can. Because you'd be like, hey, man, you don't have a problem with this? He would just be like, do the best you can. He was like, you got a problem with him? He's like, you got a problem? Are you sure you're even an operator? That's what he'd say, too. He'd say this to, like, the best operators there. And I'm just like, bro, they're fucking 10 times better than you ever were on the fucking machine you used to run 20 years ago. Like, he's been a supervisor for a long time, can't ever move up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had this real bad problem of disappearing during the whole shift. And I was like, where does he go? Like, I never knew this. I was like, where the fuck does he, like, take off to? So people told me, they were like, yeah, he'll go out and fucking, like, get a prostitute. And I was like, to this day, I don't know if they were fucking with me or not.
Yeah.
Like, I swear to God, because everybody would say it too with just such belief. That's the best word to say it, is belief. He wasn't our third shift supervisor for long. I'm gonna get into that. So one night, I'm a new operator. I'm still doing a good job, but you get tunnel vision. Like, when you're troubleshooting, that's 100%. That's the biggest part of being an operator. You can know how to start it up. You can know how to do everything. It's when shit goes wrong, that's what makes an operator. So something went wrong. I can't remember. And I'm trying to call him up, but we have walkie-talkies. And so I get on the walkie-talkie. I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if they hired somebody to be like a third shift supervisor so we could finally have one. I said that on the walkie-talkies. So I forget about it because I fucking fix it. So look, that's what he's doing. He's not being a helicopter dad. He's the opposite of that. So he's doing a good job, I guess. But I'm sitting there operating, and I have a pallet behind me, and the fucking scrap stacked up, and I'm talking with two of the forklift operators that would come and fucking take shit, put shit on our line, take shit off. So we're sitting there laughing about what I had said. Well, the next thing I know, they're like, oh shit, here he comes. So he's like barreling. I know. I'm like, oh, this is either going to end in a punch or something crazy. I was super excited about it though, because I didn't know what was going to go on. And as soon as he comes up to me, he like double hand, like pushes me. So I'm like laughing, but I still like got to get up because I didn't know what he was going to do. So I like grab him and they separate us. And he was like, that's like super unprofessional. And I was like, well, bro, fucking don't like be fucking helpful. There's other people that need your help too. Like, and I called him like a bitch, all sorts of stuff. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna fucking lose my job. Because once again, I had not been doing this long. This is how I knew too. I was like, I'm gonna stay at this place for a while. So the next night, the plant manager comes in. Because like I said, we worked second, and then they all come in the morning, but he didn't come in that morning. Mm-hmm. And like I said, they're pretty buddy because he got the plant manager his job, but the plant manager was just like, I'm gonna work harder than you. So we go into his office, and he's like, so what happened? He's like, tell me what happened, because I had a whole write up about it. And he goes down, and he was like, well, Mike got on the walkie-talkie and said all this, and he was like, what were you doing? And he was like, oh, I was doing my job. And he was like, well, why didn't you just say, hey, I'm doing this, I'll be over there in a minute? And he was like, well, I would have yelled the same thing on the walkie-talkie. And he was like, yeah, but then he proceeded to cuss me out. He was like, have you ever cussed at him? He was like, well, I mean, yeah, but not like. He was like, well, then you can get cussed out too. He was like, fucking. He was like, stop now, y'all stop being a bitch and just like go home or something like that, because he had just came in. But like I said, it's the greatest thing ever too, because me and him specifically hated each other. Like, we were the main people that butted heads, because I was like the arrogant asshole new operator. That was young and talking shit to everybody. So I am operating this a new machine. I'm learning a flexo. I was working on a die cutter, so I was learning the flexo while like the die cutter was down or something. And normally, like, I'm down where the first cart is that pulls shit off the corrugator. So I'm like the first in the know when something funny happens. But now I'm all the way down the line. So I'm like, man, we need fucking material. What the fuck is going on? So I go walking down there because they've not put any fucking blanks on my line. So I go down there, and all the corrugator guys are just standing together, laughing, having a good time. So I'm like, hey guys, y'all gonna bring something? And they're like, oh bro, we're sorry. It's just so he comes up to me, he's like, look, fucking one of the buggy guy downhill had like smashed his finger or something. So the one uphill was gonna get him a Band-Aid. So him and another of the corrugator guys, my mouth is so dry. Him and another one of the corrugator guys go into the first aid room where they catch the third shift supervisor beating off. He resigned 2 days later.
Yeah.
So anyways, they were going down to 2 shifts anyways, which I mean, they had been talking about forever. So this literally happened, 2 days after they catch him beating off. He calls out the next night. And then the third night, we find out we're going to the 2 shifts. And they're like, yeah, he accepted which I mean, I guess he got a lot of fucking money because that's back when they had, I guess, pensions and shit and good shit that unfortunately young people don't get anymore. So he got a pretty nice bit of pay. And then when I went over to Thomasville, this was 3 or 4 years later, to be supervisor. He was one of the first shift machine operators. So that was a cute little turn of events. And then I saw how absolutely fucking just terrible it is. Like there's some supervisors I can give leeway to. I wasn't good at it because I can't be like the production manager. He would always tell me shit like I was in on it. Like I'm ready for the company to be this great thing. And he would just be like, yeah, we're working this weekend. And I'd be like, wow, we are caught up. And he was like, yeah, but think about how good it'll look on. I don't give a fuck, man. I want to be off Saturday. Like I want to be off Sunday. We don't have to come in on these days. And he was like, yeah, but think about how good your shift will look. And I still had that. I don't fucking care. Like I do not care about how good the shift looks. And then so now I have to go in there and be like, yeah, we got to work, guys. And then they're all like, fucking why? And I'm just like, I don't know.
Good question.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, fucking, I get award. And then, bro, everybody on my shift too. So it's in Thomasville, North Carolina. And everybody on my shift smoked weed. It was the funnest it was super fun. It was so fucking annoying. And it's essentially what, like, I was like, man, I have to like really go at the comedy thing or just like resign to this is what I'm going to do, because there was just this moment where I was like, I don't think me going up like a corporate ladder is going to fucking really change anything. What's the funniest shit about it too is I got burned out. Like I told you, there was a pay ceiling. I was like, I'm doing all this shit for no fucking reason. So I actually quit there and just went to a different place where they, like actually worked 40 hours and had the profit sharing and shit like that. And then like 2 months into that, they was like, hey, we want you to be supervisor at this one. And I was just like, let me go do that. Right back into that shit. And I was just so burned out, man. There's only 12 hours, 6-7 days a week you can fucking do before it just kicks you in the dick, man. But literally I'd say he was the second in my whole job experience was like the second biggest person that I butted heads with. Like I said, there was the one other second shift guy that took over after Steve had also quit, but he came back. Me and him bumped heads too, but that motherfucker could fight his ass off. So I'm really glad. Like I didn't like push it too far. He was a good guy, like a fun guy until he became supervisor. Like he had a bit of an anger issue, but as long as you didn't talk to him in the morning, it was cool. But then he became a supervisor and you had to talk to that motherfucker. So he was just always angry and you always had to accept it. I thought that was a good little story to tell with that, man. But you're not the asshole. Look, they wrote you up because they didn't want you to leave. So now you got to fucking leave, man. There's jobs that are definitely better than dollars of family places, especially in warehouses, man. I went to interview at a place where they did the picking for a major grocery store line on the East Coast. And brother, like that was like they had people like running and like people sitting there timing them. And I was like, I could never do that. Couldn't do it at all.
Sounds like a terrible job.
Well, guys, are you ready to wrap this episode up?
Yeah.
Dylan's giving me that look like Mike. You went on real long, but I thought that was a good little fun story for them to have with the little bit of more of the Mike lore, especially the work shit, because 98% of them came from the Mike and Steve stuff. So give them a little backstory on how all that transpired. Maybe we'll give them the start of it. one day, I don't know, guys, check out Labor Llama. LABORLAMA.com. It's Mike and Dylan, or it's mine and Dylan's company. You know, we started a clothing company for blue collar workers because, hey, we wanted to give them quality clothing. Also, like I said, we got the subreddit coming out, MADHD. I had to Google it or Reddit it. I should have been more prepared on that, but yeah, guys.
May 13th, we'll be at the Lexington cruising.
We'll also shout that out on the next podcast too, to really write home to people so they
until
can't.
it comes up, we'll keep talking about it. But
man, it's gonna thunderstorm that day. Huh?
We can move inside the river house, and we'll be able to post up in there if it rains.
All right, guys. Well, I had a real fun time with this episode. I always enjoy talking to Dylan. Sometimes I get real excited and I talk at him, but we'll see you guys next time.
Later,
potatoes. I gotta one up you on that one day.
You don't.
I'm going to one day.